members were chased out. From Rim Country Middle School, our Dean of Students. Thanks to all three of you for being here with us this morning. And I guess primarily, one of the things we want to talk about is graduation is just finally right around the corner. I use the word finally because I'm talking to people in the education business, and I imagine that's how we all feel about this time of year. Am I anywhere close to being right, Renee?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We are all ready for this year to come to a close, and
it's been such a in a word, bizarre year. I mean, the COVID thing certainly had to have thrown a lot of unusual twists your way. One of the things yesterday, we had folks from the Banner Payson Medical Center here with us, and talking about how prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the adoption rate with a lot of doctors of telemedicine was really not that high, but it didn't really make any difference because they kind of had it shoved down their throat this year. Now it appears to be here to stay. When it comes to distance learning, this had to be a huge challenge all of a sudden for everybody.
It was definitely a challenge. The good thing is our tech department had already started moving towards us including so much more technology in the classroom, and they already had a plan for one-to-one.
Mm-hmm.
So each student has their own computer, and that has just been a lifesaver this year because we were able to get those out this summer. It took hours of manpower to do it, but we got all the students' computers out this summer, so we were able to roll pretty seamlessly into distance learning.
That in and of itself, I mean, you make it sound logistically kind of easy, but it had to be quite a feat.
It was definitely a feat.
Yeah.
And just, the teachers, we all say that we've learned so much this year. We've been teaching collectively, I don't even know how many years, but this year has just been different because we've all had to learn to, refocus and how to engage in a totally new way. So. And
Yvette, when it comes to the high school, I'm assuming again that regardless of what school we're talking about, this year has been, I think the technical term is a booger.
That would be a good phrase.
And beat some of the others. To just be able to put a computer in front of every kid that they can take home, these little Chromebooks or whatever you're using, that in and of itself seems like a profound accomplishment. Were there grants involved in being able to acquire all of this technology? Or, was this something that was already in line for this year and just happened to really be fortunate that we got this, or how did this all come about?
It got sped up. It was in the plan to roll that, but when last school year, the coronavirus hit and we went out for the semester,
right,
or the quarter, then that was when they realized, okay, we need to up this. So the district did an amazing job of reallocating some money, pulling together how many computers do we already have in carts, because most classrooms had a cart full. And so with all of that and some major buying of new Chromebooks, which got tricky because everyone in the country went on, and even in the world started needing computers more, they were back ordered for months. And so it's just been a complete process. Our tech department's done great. Our teachers have been amazing of finding new technology and, Nearpod and creating lessons online in a whole new format that they've never done.
Right.
Slides, putting things up for kids to be able to access anytime, because we have some students who didn't have enough bandwidth in their house for everyone to be on at the same time.
That's a big challenge depending on where you live.
Yeah, so we had that kind of challenge, and then we also, as soon as we were allowed to, had on-site support. So we had students that would come in and use the internet at school.
Yeah, I just had a chance to tour your, was it STEM or STEAM lab?
STEAM lab.
Yeah, you got the A in there now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty amazing, and that's a whole other show in and of itself, but it's pretty amazing some of the different technologies, and the thing I like about it is that you're bringing in things that really might trip the interest trigger with a kid that may not have any plans on going on to college or something, but you might be able to actually open up something in their mind as far as a vocation that they want to go down. Some really interesting stuff there. Now at the middle school, Jake, again, Jake Swartwood, Dean of Students at Rim Country Middle School, Yeah, and nothing's different there as far as the challenge from this last year with the distance learning and everything. That had to be, I mean, it's the same challenge, but with different age groups, I'm sure come some interesting nuances.
Yeah, we had some interesting things happen on Google Meets, as I think most schools did, and having to see little kids in the background or parents in the background or somebody coming out of a bathroom, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, turn your camera off, please, immediately. So there were some interesting challenges that we faced, but
So you don't have a blooper reel we can share with
oh
our-
gosh, thank God that we didn't record all the Google Meets throughout the year, but it was a challenge. But at the same time, like Renee and Yvette have said, is just a huge kudos to our tech department and also to our teachers, and all the tools that they added to their toolbox this year that made them better teachers and allowed kids to utilize and get to the curriculum and continue to learn. And our students and our parents just jumped on board and went with the punches, and it was took a bad situation and made the best out of it. And I think that we still got to see good student growth, and I think kids value coming to school now much more than they did prior to this. And I think teachers also value seeing their students a whole lot more as well. And not that we didn't initially, but it just gave everybody such a bigger connection than we had prior to this.
And it sometimes takes something like this to get us all to realize how much we take for granted.
Oh man.
And you specifically also have been involved in a lot of different athletics and stuff, and that's another thing that when the mask mandates came up and all of that, I can't imagine trying to play basketball with a mask on. I'd hyperventilate and die, and that would be it.
Yeah. I've stepped out a little bit, but got to watch Coach Brian Burke at the high school and Coach Blaylock at the middle school, and the pod groupings that coaches had to follow, and kids could only be in those certain groups, and it was helping isolate the spread of the virus and stuff. And I stepped into a new world this year and refereed a few basketball games.
Oh, wow.
And that was unique to tell kids, hey, put your mask over your face. You have to have it on, because it was an AIA regulation at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And for me as well, trying to run up and down the court with a mask on was a challenge. But kids were still doing it, and people were there, and we had spectators, and it was the best out of a bad scenario. So
I sit and whine just sitting in a chair wearing a mask, let alone running up and down the court. That's crazy. Now, as far as the technology that we were talking about, pretty much the same deal at the middle school as far as everybody's got a Chromebook, and I know that the younger the kids are, the more this has got to be a unique challenge.
Yeah, I'm just thankful that, and this is going to sound bad, I'm thankful I'm not at the elementary level, because it's a lot harder for kids on computers, especially I've got a friend who's teaching kindergarten, and oh my gosh, that's like herding cats online, and it's very difficult.
In a lightning storm.
Good, yeah, oh man. So, but yeah, we follow the same kind of, we try to mirror everything that the high school is doing, and try to make sure we have that technology, and we were ahead of the game as well as the high school was with as far as how many computers we had. So
Right.
It wasn't a huge shift for us to get them out to kids. It was just they weren't staying at the school anymore, and so they've taken it in stride and done really well.
And now we're coming up to it's about time for graduation, and again, Renee Short with the Payson Center for Success. As the students with the Center for Success, they're going to be going through the same graduation ceremony right alongside Payson High School, correct?
We are. Next year, we are combining, and we'll be, Payson Center for Success will still exist, but we will be a academy inside of Payson High School. So with everything going on this year, we decided to go ahead and combine those ceremonies. All of our kids, almost every student at PCS also takes classes at the high school. So it was just a natural transition to start putting those two things together.
Makes sense. About how many kids do we have graduating this year, do you know?
We have roughly 150 that are currently on track to graduate.
Cool. And when's the graduation ceremony coming up?
It's next Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday,
A week from
May
tomorrow.
28th, 7 o'clock.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is this is this going to be out at the ball field or in the?
Yep, we will have it at the football field like we traditionally have. There'll be some extra things in place with parents that'll have to stay off the field. Students will be separated a little bit more on the field, things like that. But it's traditional ceremony. We're not planning on limiting the number of people that come in. mask or encouraged but not mandatory, those kind of things.
And Yvette, when it comes to the high school itself, just the operation this year with all of the concerns about COVID, I mean, this has to have been a tremendous challenge for all of you, in that you not only have to get up to speed with what everybody says the current situation is, but figure out how to carry that out in the day-to-day routines at the school. And I mean, this had to be a really interesting, and I'm using the word interesting in place of perhaps a few other words that could be used there, but it had to be a very interesting challenge for y'all.
Yeah, we had a good leadership group, and we put things into place, processes, procedures. Majority of our students, when the mask mandate was in, they wore the masks. They understood, or we could talk to them and get them to understand, we didn't like wearing them either, but for the better of our community and our students, trying to keep other people safe, because sometimes it's not the person that's at school, it's who they're going home to. Grandparents living at home, parents that have an illness, and so you're protecting others around you, not just yourself. And they did a really good job of keeping the masks on for the majority of the time. And then the first day that we were able to take them off officially, when the mandate was raised, one of the students, his comment was, "I've never seen some of my teachers' faces, the whole face."
Oh, wow.
Because we had worn them all the time. And I had a student, I'm like, "Wait, do I know you?" And he reaches up with a mask and he just holds it over his face. I'm like, "Oh, I know you." We've talked several times at lunch and stuff, and we laughed about it. Wow, that's what somebody looks like. So it was a little interesting with them, and just
Did you have
getting
any that
used
you
to
wanted to put back on?
Well, we didn't have you up there,
Nah.
so you're safe, Jake.
Well, it's been a strange year, though. I mean, even just, when was the last time that you walked into a bank with a mask on and didn't have everybody freak out?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it's just been kind of strange that way. Now, as far as the high school and the Payson Center for Success graduation, a combined effort, which will be happening a week from tomorrow evening. And now is that open to whoever wants to come out?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no you only get to bring 2 family members and that's it, and none of that stuff.
There's no limitations.
Okay.
They'll be able to seat on the bleachers on both sides like we've done in the past. If they need handicap seating, they'll be able to talk to one of the staff there along the fence line, and they'll be able to sit on the track, wheelchair with one person.
Right.
So we have that all planned out like we always have. And I guess probably the only biggest change is the students, as they come across the stage, won't be shaking everyone's hands.
Right.
They'll get their diploma from one of the board members and then move on down to take their picture. So it's really
Trying a little bit of cootie control there.
pretty
anyway.
close to the same system
Good.
that we've always had.
Good.
So
Now,
I look forward to it. It's
I
my first
understand-
high school graduation.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Now, I understand Jake Swartwood is going to be singing the national anthem.
I don't know if they're gonna let me.
I
No, I tried. I applied.
Yeah.
I did an audition.
Oh, that's all right.
And it was weird.
Yeah.
They didn't have anybody there who made decisions. They just put me in a room, put me some kids in there, and I sang, and I felt I did good. But
Don't let the fact that the walls in that room were padded.
I'm still waiting for the callback. We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, what about, in all seriousness, what about Rim Country Middle School when it comes to graduation there?
So we're a little unique. Last year we did a drive-through, similar to the high school, and we had promotion, and we talked to our students after that, and we had a really good feedback. So we decided to kind of stay the same way this year, that we're going to continue to do a drive-through, and it's going to be Thursday next week, the 27th.
Huh.
We'll be staging kids at 1 o'clock over at the football field area and where the bus loading zone is. We've got a couple police officers that are coming in to kind of control traffic, and our students are going to go through there. The biggest thing that when we talked to kids about that, what they liked was the ability to individually express themselves with their vehicles and decorate them and have signs. And,
Oh, wow.
and obviously it's not going to make everybody happy, and I don't have
Yeah.
Facebook, but
Good-
I
good
get
luck
some of
ever
those
accomplishing
Facebook
that.
messages and see them occasionally, and any decision you make is going to probably upset someone. And
Sure.
so while that's not always fun, we got good feedback from it, and so we're going to continue it this year and see what we do in the coming years. So
Cool. And about how many kids are graduating?
we've got about
from middle school?
100, I think it's 180 3 is what I believe is coming up to the high school next year for us. And so, and I guess our biggest thing too is as we go towards this, we want to celebrate our 8th graders going on, but for us, our goal is to see them graduate high school. And we want to go celebrate them as much as anything. We want them to realize that, hey, this is a big deal. You made it through 8th grade, but we want you to graduate high school.
Right.
And so, that's our main focus in our dialogue that we're having with our kids as well. So.
And now the drive-through promotion is going to be next Thursday, a week from today.
Yes, sir.
And what time again?
We're going to stage at 1 o'clock. It will start at 2. We're telling people if they want to come and kind of congregate on Longhorn and then down towards the middle school on both sides. We have the sidewalks and all the teachers will be out there. It'll be decorated with signs and stuff and music playing, and it should be a good time for our kids. So.
Sounds like a plan. Wow, that sounds great. Now as far as numbers of students right now, it's been a couple of years since I was really paying closer attention, and Yvette, when it comes to the number of students, are we seeing a little bit of an increase each year from the year before? I mean, I've been around Payson for 40 years, and I just remember, some of the graduating classes a number of years ago were a lot smaller than they are today. So have we been seeing steady growth that way, or where are we at roughly?
I think we're trending kind of right about the same. This year we're down some because of the COVID. There are families and parents that either moved for various reasons due to work things or finding work, and then also chose other online options for their student because they didn't want them to be on campus earlier in the year, and they're sticking through that choice for the year.
Right.
We have several that are returning next year back to on campus.
Good.
And so our trend pretty much is an even. We're down as a district as a whole, but due to the COVID, and I think we'll bounce back up to close.
We did see a lot of parents leaving for work, and it was something that, when people got laid off, they had to make those choices of, are we going to stay here and wait this out, or are we going to move? And a lot of kids had to move to Phoenix or into other areas, and I think, like Yvette was saying, we're going to see a lot of those kids come back, and a lot of the kids that are online are coming back as well. So numbers will end up being pretty much, I think our max was back in like 2008 or 2007 when we were running about 1,200 kids, I think. And
Yeah.
Well, what about, especially at the middle school level, did you see much, there's been a lot of talk about the challenges that come about as a result of a lack of social interaction during this pandemic. Did you notice challenges that way with the middle school kids?
When kids came back from the first closure, we were out from spring break last year and then out for that first quarter. It was unique to watch them kind of learn how to interact with each other again. And it was, I think parents did a really good job, and kids especially as well, of isolating and kind of sticking to their own bubbles. And yeah, it was funny to kind of watch them interact again and kind of learn how to wait for conversations, wait for somebody to quit talking before you started talking, and all that kind of same stuff.
Wow, what a novel concept.
Yeah. So it was strange at first, and we have video announcements, and we kind of did some mock role play with Mr. Creighton and I, or our principal, Dr. Murphy, and kind of made fun of it a little bit, and they got back in the swing of things. Kids are so resilient that it doesn't take long for them to hit their stride again, and the same discipline and same things were going on very quickly after we came back. So
Gotta love it. Now, what about when it comes to the Payson Center for Success? I mean, did you see challenges there that the kids were dealing with as a result of again not being in the standard classroom that they had been so accustomed to for so long?
We saw some of that coming back. Payson Center for Success is a little bit unique in the fact that everybody's kind of doing their own thing with that blended learning model. But getting them to talk to their teachers was very difficult. And I would say our biggest challenge was just having kids, high school kids, transition from working full time and doing their classes at night to, I have to be in class right now. So we had quite a few kids at both campuses that moved to our online program because they're working so much.
Right. And Yvette, when it comes to the high school, I mean, are there some significant, in your opinion, some significant takeaways that come as a result of all of this COVID experience? Whether it's some of the computer stuff is something that we saw, progress in certain areas, so we're going to expand on that. I mean, what did we learn from this? Did we pick up some positives?
Yeah, we did. I think we have some students who found that they do learn better with the online format, especially those that went to taking the full class online, because they can work at their own pace and reread things and slow down if they need to, speed up and accelerate themselves. So we do have some students that, because of this, got that opportunity. And that they want to continue it, or part of their classes. They found that, wow, I can do math online, but man, I really need to be in the classroom for English. And so we're going to see some more blended learning,
right?
Because they got an opportunity that they hadn't tried. I do think that the students appreciate being at school and appreciate in the classroom a lot more than they were, because you always do it. You've been doing it for 10, 15, 10, 12 years, depending on your grade. The same old, and that to be taken away, they were really excited to be able to come back. And
don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Somebody's write a song like that. And we're almost out of time, but I gotta ask one other quick question just to gauge your reaction here, and that is that one of the big concerns that I think a lot of us had were some of the at-risk kids that maybe have a tough environment at home, and school is their escape from that, and all of a sudden that escape is gone. That's got to be a profound challenge for some kids. Would you concur?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were really happy with when we were able to provide the on-site support.
Right.
We could invite some of those students to come in, and we were able at the high school, middle school, we had buses, elementary, to the outlying areas,
right,
to be able to have those students come in that didn't have internet, that maybe had difficulty learning from home for their situations. And then we're still supporting students that really struggled with those things at home, being, and losing several family members. We have a couple of students who, due to illnesses and COVID, lost some grandparents and other people in their family, and so they're struggling with.
It's been a tough year for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing.
And teachers too.
Well, and hats off to everything that y'all have been doing, because to roll with those kind of punches is pretty amazing. That's a whole bunch of punches over the course of 2 school years basically. Anyway, again, if you tuned in late, we've been talking with Renee Short. She's the lead teacher from Payson Center for Success, also Payson High School Assistant Principal Yvette Harp, and Dean of Students over at Rim Country Middle School, Jake Swartwood. Thanks to all three of you for coming down and being with us again. Now, Jake, again, the graduation or the promotion, drive-through promotion for Rim Country Middle School is a week from today. At what time again?
Thursday the 27th, staging at 1, we'll start at 2 o'clock.
And the best place for people that want to just come and watch is basically kind of a parade.
I'd start on Longhorn, and then I would, I believe it's Meadow that heads down there
right
in front of the middle school, and we've got a couple sidewalks that people can kind of stage on, and we'll have a really good time celebrating our kids.
Gotta love it. And the Payson High School and Payson Center for Success will have their graduation ceremonies 1 week from tomorrow. That's Friday, what day is it?
28.
And again, what time is the ceremony?
7 o'clock ceremony.
And that's out at the Payson High School football field.
Payson High School football field.
And remember that traffic is Memorial Friday traffic, so plan accordingly.
Use the back roads.
Use the back roads, or come in early if you're going to come.
Plan ahead. That makes sense. Hey, thanks to all three of you for being here today. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you tuning in and listening to Community Spotlight on KRIM. Gonna get you back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from Bruce Springsteen, Aerosmith, Van Halen, Deep Purple, and more. But first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
Now here's your
Thank you, Randy.
My pleasure.